From the studios of Farm Journal Broadcast, this is AgDay.
Along for the hunt.
This morning, it's time to head out to the blind, see if we can call up a turkey.
See what Chip Flory found in Missouri as we go turkey hunting outdoors on the farm. A reality check when it comes to the winter wheat crop.
Just the yield potential on a lot of this is quite low.
What scouts are seeing as the annual tour rolls on. Plus, deal extended.
To see the deal extended is definitely a good thing. Keeps that market open.
What a continuation of the Black Sea grain deal means for the markets right now on AgDay. Good morning, I'm Griffiths. The Black Sea grain deal has been extended for another 2 months. The announcement coming just as the initiative was due to run out. Now here's a look at the latest breakdown of what's been shipped according to the UN Black Sea Grain Initiative Joint Coordination Center. As you can see, more than 30 million metric tons of ag product has been moved out of the region since the initial deal was signed last summer. Half the shipments being corn. AgDay's Michelle Rook joins us to look at the terms of the deal and what it means for our markets.
Clinton, the market analysts I talked to say they wouldn't have been surprised with any outcome from the talks, as Russia had threatened many times that they would blow out of the deal if their concerns were not dealt with. However, the good news, at least for developing countries, is that the deal will be extended another 60 days. Moscow claimed that the facilitation of shipments of Russian food and fertilizer that were part of the deal had not been applied. They also wanted insurance restrictions lifted on exports and renewed access to the SWIFT banking system. It's unclear if those concessions were made to get an agreement.
To see the deal extended is definitely a good thing. Keeps that market open. But again, still a lot of unknowns here moving forward. We'll see how long it actually is going to remain in place and if they're going to continue to ship corn and wheat and where all those destinations continue to go.
Some experts say, though, the real key is when is Russia going to back off from undercutting the market with their own exports, not Ukraine's.
So I really don't think the Ukraine corridor deal is that important anymore, but given that the ending stocks are gone from Ukraine, I think it's when Russia's ready to play a different card geopolitically and say, we're going to pull back on this wheat. We're going to start to create some problems with wheat prices going up and see if we can pressure geopolitically some of our partners here to kind of see things our way. And I think that might be what they're setting up to do here.
Thompson says prices reacted negatively, but she doesn't think there is much war premium left for the market to take out.
We've taken out a lot of war premium, to be honest with you, across the board. So we are at pre-war levels, to be honest with you, especially on the corn side and wheat for that matter. So I think that the fundamentals do remain strong enough. I think we'll be able to maintain levels here.
In talks last week, Ukraine's deputy minister said the grain deal should be extended for a longer period of time and expanded to give predictability and confidence to the markets. Moscow said, though, it opposed an expansion, then opted for another shorter extension. I'm Michelle Rook reporting for AgDay.
All right, thanks, Michelle. Today wraps up the winter wheat tour in the Central Plains, and participants are seeing firsthand what drought and frost freeze events have done to this year's crop. Now, scouts reported an average yield of 29.8 bushels to the acre. Those were from samples taken from central and northern Kansas. Now, that's down from last year's 39.5 bushels an acre and way off the 5-year average. Besides drought, the tour found wheat in north central Kansas also suffered damage from very cold winter weather. Now, while the results weren't surprising, they were still some of the lowest first day tour yields since 2003.
There's across north central Kansas, there's a lot of pretty short, thin wheat, very much a result of drought stress. When you get to northwest Kansas, we have wheat that didn't emerge until the spring. And so it's also very short and very thin, and just the yield potential on a lot of this is quite low.
State wheat associations also pegging wheat production at 30 million bushels in Nebraska. That's up from 26 million last year, and 54 million in Colorado, up significantly from 2022. And there are more rain chances for the southern plains today. Meteorologist Matt Engelbrecht continues to track several changes weather-wise. Matt.
Yeah, Clint, as we talked about the last couple of days, it's not a substantial amount of rainfall, or rather kind of spotty. So let's take you through your Thursday in terms of the precipitation estimates. We got two systems kind of unfolding. One is going to be a wheat clipper that works across the northern part of the United States, and that's why we expect rain to be a lot lighter. The farther we are removed from the Gulf of Mexico or even the Atlantic, the less moisture we can get down coming from Canada. Now back down here to the south into Oklahoma and Texas, we do need some rain in those areas, and the good news is we'll avoid severe weather, or at least we'll avoid widespread severe weather in those locations. I take you out to May 22nd through the 26th. That pattern continues to set up where it's staying pretty dry in the Midwest with showers and maybe some thunderstorms rolling back here coming out of the Rockies with that next low pressure system. But right now, things are trending pretty quiet in regards to severe weather season. Precipitation outlook again staying dry into the Midwest. Let's go ahead and take a look at what we have in Minnesota, and that might look that image, that sunshine might look a little different. You may have noticed this as well. Well, the haze is due to the wildfires in British Columbia. Now, the smoke sweeping over the northern U.S. Tim took this picture in Minnesota, spotting it at the end of the day of seeding soybeans. I'll have more on your forecast coming up in just a bit.
California's green diesel fuel program is proving very popular, so much so that it's driving down the price of the state's low carbon fuel credits. The Wall Street Journal reporting that biofuels now make up nearly 50% of the diesel used in California, and that overall greenhouse gas emissions are down about 13% since the program began back in 2011, as seen on this chart. But that is tanking the market for the state's low-carbon fuel credits. They were trading for over $200 per metric ton at the beginning of 2021, but it reports that they are now down to $84. The California Air Resources Board is now considering increasing its 2030 carbon reduction goal in an effort to boost those credit prices. And an update to that massive train derailment in rural Ohio back in February and the results of soil sampling around the rail crash site. Ohio officials saying plant tissue samples collected from ag areas near the site of the East Palestine, Ohio train derailment did not detect any hazardous chemicals. Now they say the tests centered on winter wheat, pasture grasses, malting barley, and forage covers within a 5-mile radius of the derailment. The samples were analyzed for 26 semi-volatile organic compounds. Further, EPA analysis has found little contamination from the derailment, but cleanup work continues at that site, where more than 17 million gallons of wastewater has been removed, along with 42,000 tons of soil. China canceling an order, favorable weather, and a Ukrainian grain deal, all adding pressure to markets. We'll have details next. And later, grab your call and hit the blind for a spring turkey hunt in Missouri. Chip Flory takes us outdoors on the farm, ahead on AgDay. China canceled another corn shipment midweek, eliminating another 10 million bushel buy. Combine that with favorable weather conditions, and corn sunk to its lowest level since early last year. Michelle Rook is back with a deeper dive in markets now.
A tough down day in the grains on Wednesday. Vince Boddicker with Farmers Trading Company joining us with analysis. Lots of fun selling across the commodity complex, but grains also kind of pushed here by China corn cancellations and talk that this Black Sea grain deal got extended, right?
Yeah, and I think it was a culmination of all that. And psychology, I think the last couple of days hasn't been good. And I think that's maybe a bigger driving force than you had the grain deal and the corn cancellation. It just kind of added fuel to a fire that was already burning.
So we did take out some major support areas on new crop. December got below $5. We got below $12 on November beans. So how much more selling pressure do you think we're going to see here now?
Yeah, I think coming back and closing right near that $5 level, if we can hold in here, my work showed 497 was an important number in that December corn. Could you go to 484 to 464? You could. Whether they're ready to do that right now, I'm not sure. Bean situation, could you take it to 1160 to 1180 if they want to continue to show weakness? I think so, but typically somewhere in this time frame, grains are usually putting in a high or a low. And I'm sure hoping it's not a high in here by the way we've been doing.
Yeah, it was kind of sad to see the market shake off what was some pretty bullish yield numbers out of, I should say, bearish yield numbers out of the Kansas crop tour.
Yes, they did. The second day, I think people were maybe looking for a little bit less yield than what they come up with. The fields that I have seen pictures of look pathetic, but unless you see the whole thing, you don't know where it's at. But I found it interesting that 2 or 3 times during the day, we came back and took out Monday's highs and looked good. But that failure, I don't think is a good thing going home.
Yeah. So the grains, do you think we're getting close to turning this thing, or what will it take to turn it?
I think when you look at the corn and the beans, it's nothing more than pure psychology. And I think that lasts long, that believes they have to get out of this market. When they get out, you're going to turn. But do I think you should be close? Yes. The other side on the wheat, we had that nice rally, at least in Kansas City. I did have some short-term highs due Friday or Monday in here. So would I be surprised to get more sell-off? Short-term, I think you could, but hopefully the corn and the beans are coming somewhat close. Maybe you can extend it into early June before you try to put a bottom in.
All right. Thanks for joining us. Vince Boddicker, Farmers Trading Company. More Ag Day coming up.
Ag Day is brought to you by Lamar's Toy Store, the largest and most diversified farm toy store in the U.S. They have new and old and do restorations and customizations too. You need to see it to believe it. Visit lamarstoystore.com or call us at 712-546-4305.
Yeah, I want to go take a look at the wind gust forecast. Next couple of days, a couple of rain chances or systems moving through the United States, kicking up the rain, but also the winds. Now, this is early Thursday morning, and you see that next system dropping down right along Canadian and United States border with some stronger winds into the Dakotas and extending back into UP as well as northern Wisconsin with possibility of about 30 to 40 mile per hour winds. Removed from that, back in the Four Corner states, they got another low pressure system that's going to pick up some Gulf moisture. And as we talked about 10 to 15 minutes ago, it kind of got two pieces of the atmosphere bringing the wind and rain. One location, though, is going to get more rain than the other, and that's the one back down here to the south. As that Clipper system starts to unfold, a possibility of a few strong wind gusts right on the front of a cold front that's going to be dropping down to the north. This is Friday morning at 7 o'clock in the morning. The wind will continue to fill in across the plains, including Iowa into northern Missouri through our Friday afternoon. By far one of the windier days we have seen this entire week for the United States, with that next Clipper system starting to move in. To go along with that, you also have some rainfall as well. That low pressure system, that Clipper that we've been talking about all week long, is the main reason for not only the wind, but the rain as well. Coming back down into parts of Texas, this is precipitation estimates through Friday night. And then as we move back up here to the north, notice there's not a lot of rain associated with that Clipper system. Strong winds, but in terms of available moisture, this is going to be a very dry system with maybe a ½ inch to an inch of rainfall. Possibility of some higher rainfall totals into northern Illinois, southern Wisconsin, and of course the UP. Take a look at that jet stream going through our Thursday and Friday. What we want to look for are those green circles, the low pressure systems. There's one there right there that is moving through to the northeast. That Clipper system we've been talking about going on nearly a week. This time last week, we were talking about this system moving through. Pretty shallow, and expecting that to move out before a ridge of high pressure, dry and also warm air coming in across the United States as early as Saturday and lasting through most of next week. Talk about Goodland. Scattered thunderstorms, high around 68 degrees, low of 50. Wisconsin, Kenosha, mostly sunny, high around 65 degrees. And Conway, South Carolina, got some scattered showers, high around 70 degrees.
We'll sneak into a hunting blind to go outdoors on the farm next. And later we'll meet a chef trying to dance and cook her way into the record books in the country.
Outdoors on the Farm is brought to you by Land Trust. Join our community of thousands of outdoor enthusiasts. Find properties, connect with landowners, and book an experience today. Learn more at landtrust.com.
When preparation meets anticipation, the blood can get pumping outdoors on the farm. Today, that's where we find Chip Flory as he and the team hit the blinds for a spring turkey hunt in Missouri.
Welcome back to Outdoors on the Farm. I'm Chip Flory. We did all the prep work yesterday. This morning, it's time to head out to the blinds, see if we can call up a turkey.
Can you shoot 3.5s or 3s? Okay, so these are 3.5s.
You can follow this.
Oh, I see you. Right. Yep.
All right, let me give you a little bit of the setup of what we've got going here. We snuck down in here on yesterday afternoon. Wind was blowing, it was cloudy. Knowing that it was going to be much quieter this morning, knowing that we were going to get gray light early. So we got in here when it was dark. We were kind of expecting to hear the toms start to sound off, 5:45, 5:50. Didn't hear anything. Here it is, it's about 6:30 now, and we're not hearing anything. We haven't seen anything walk by. We're watching the back side of the blind. We're watching the front side of the blind. We're listening like crazy, trying to hear what's going on out here. But we haven't heard from a tom, and so that's a little discouraging. We're hoping that Andy is having better luck. We had a very quiet morning, fellas. A very quiet morning. You guys had a little bit more excitement. Colton, what happened?
Yeah, we sure did. We got down here, got set up in the blind, decoys out, and 10 minutes later they started, gobbling up a storm. I think another hen probably gave them a little more that persuaded them to head that way.
Yeah.
I still think, Chip, the best time in the morning is when they come down off the roost and then you hear the woods waking up, and that to me is the best part of the hunt.
Oh, we were maybe a half a mile away, something like that. And I was trying to listen, see if I could hear anything gobbling down here. And all of a sudden I hear a couple of shots and I'm thinking, man, oh man, we're on them. What happened, Andy?
I missed that coyote, son of a gun.
I don't know if you missed him.
I buckled him a little bit, but the second one was high, I know, and he took off like a bat out of you-know-what. I was just happened to look out the back of the blind. A nice coyote. It wasn't one of those mangy things. It was, beautiful gray coyote. And that was pretty much the end of the turkey hunt at that point. A couple of things. You're popping off a couple of shots. You've got a coyote that just went through your hunting ground. Things are probably going to slow down anyway.
Yeah, things cool down quite a bit when one of those, gets his eyes on the decoys and starts making his way over.
Well, you can tell that Andy and Colton had a lot of fun out here in the timber. They had the whole experience. The only thing that they didn't get was a bird on the ground. But hey, that's hunting. For Outdoors on the Farm, I'm Chip Flory. We'll be back with more Ag Day in a moment.
All right, thanks, Chip. Now, when we come back, cooking for the record books. And if you're a livestock producer, get your phone out and scan the QR code on your screen right now. Zoetis and Farm Journal want to recognize you and what you do for your communities. The Zoetis Freedom Recognition Sweepstakes by Farm Journal runs through next Saturday. You can register to win a special edition golf bag or the grand prize, an amazing American flag wall display that we will be giving away on air. Now, that QR code you're scanning will take you to the sweepstakes entry form to enter for your chance to win.
In the Country on Ag Day is brought to you by Pivot Bio. What if you had the nitrogen you need already on seed? Pivot Bio is the first company to apply nitrogen on seed. The nitrogen you need, now on seed, from Pivot Bio. Learn more at pivotbio.com.
It seems like when you're cooking a big meal, you'll spend hours in the kitchen, right? But one woman deliberately cooked for 100 hours straight. Her goal to attempt to set a world record. Nigerian chef Hilda Fiong Bassi started cooking last Thursday and didn't stop until this past Monday. Now, she created more than 55 recipes and 100 meals, and a lack of sleep didn't slow her down any. She danced and waved to supporters throughout the marathon cooking session. Now, the Guinness World Record Committee hasn't confirmed yet if she will become the record holder. The current record is 87 hours and 45 minutes. Now, Bassi says her motivation for trying to break the current record was to put Nigerian food on the map. And that's all the time we have this morning. We're sure glad you tuned in. From all of us here at AgDay, I'm Griffiths. Have a great day.